Welcome, folks. Hope you're doing well out there today. We're going to be talking about Genesis Battle of Champions, Canadian based TCG. It's been around for the last 4 to 5 years. And during this series, we're going to go through some of the early prints, the rarities of Alpha, Beta, Raze, and Welcome to Jaelara, the first four sets of Genesis, as well as some of the promotional cards, just to give you a better understanding of how many of these are actually out there, how rare they are, and a little bit of background and history on the game. First, I want to just start with a little disclaimer. All the information you're about to see is actually based off of two resources. One is Assad, who's pictured here, the CEO of Haunted Castle Gaming, and the other is the Haunted Castle Gaming website itself. And I'd reached out to Sid just because the website seemed to have some conflicting information, and during the course of some communication with Assad, I discovered why the alpha print run was a little bit crazy. They had several iterations of it, and it was a very evolving set, to say the least. So what I wanted to do is take some time to just kind of go through that with you today. All right, the alpha products are going to be a little bit off. Some of these numbers may not seem to make sense, but just bear with me till the end here. So originally alpha was came out in 2017, and there was actually two waves of it, one in 2017 and one in 2018. But the set was very ever evolving. Some of the art was not commissioned and available yet, so as a result, certain cards were not printed originally. So if you think about alpha, it was essentially a test run. Originally, there was only 50 cards, and just two of them were rares. In October of 2017, they released 31 starter kits that contained no rares. They would have had a 2017 copyright date. Later on in November, they released just 11 booster packs. This was a test run of sorts, so just keep in mind that there's probably not going to be any of these out there in the public. It's rumored that there's one pack that probably Assad has sealed for a rainy day or for some grand prize for somebody in the future. So the 2017 alpha calculations are very, very difficult to gauge. I'm not really sure. I don't think Assad's even sure how many of each cards are out there. But based off of 11 booster packs and the fact that originally there was two rares, and then at some point in time they added some extra rares in here, you're probably looking at between 0 and 1 copy of each epic and each rare. And so what I would say here is if you've got one of these, hold on to them. They're going to be extremely hard to get, and there's probably some early collectors and players that are holding these. So not likely that you're going to find them on the secondary market, but just realize that this is 2017 alpha. The cards were not in the greatest condition. There was probably some print errors, centering was off, that sort of thing, but they are really cool historical pieces for the set. It should also be noted that the first two rares were Meteorite and Guardian of Balance, and so I've actually pictured the Guardian of Balance here. Unfortunately, that's not the 2017 alpha photo. I'm not sure if anybody's got one. I'd love to see some of those, especially these early rares. Somebody's got it and can send us a picture. That'd be awesome to see. So if we move along to 2018 alpha, this is where the numbers start to make a little bit more sense. By April of 2018, they had released this last wave of alpha. At this point in time, they had a full 90 card set. This included 4 epic rares: Primordial Force, Angel of Retribution, the Demon Scrolls, and Purifying Wave. So in January, they released 100 starter kits. Again, these starter kits contained just commons and uncommons. And then shortly thereafter, in February, they released 50 booster packs. This was booster pack edition 1. So at this point in time, they only had 50 to 60 of the 90 card set. Then in April, they released edition 2 of Alpha 2018. So these were booster boxes that contained only 20 packs. So there was 8 of these boxes, so 160 boosters. So at this point in time, these 160 boosters would have contained up to 70 to 80 of the 90 alpha cards. Then by April of 2018, we have what they call the full set booster boxes. So 31 of these booster boxes, each with 20 booster packs. And this is the first time the full 90 card set was printed and you had a chance to get all of those cards. So depending on what those later cards were, there's actually less of those because they weren't printed in the first, second, and full set booster runs. And finally, in July of 2018, Haunted Castle Games gave away 30 alpha gift boxes. These were complete 90 card sets and given to some of the earliest supporters of the game. Chances are those are the only 30 complete sets out there in existence. And if you have one, please treasure it and also share with us because I'd love to see all the cards in their glory. If we use those numbers for the 2018 alpha set to calculate how many of each card there would be, we know there's 4 epic rares. There's roughly one of those per 8 packs. There was 8 rares in the set, 20 uncommons, 42 commons. So if each booster contained 1 rare, 3 uncommon, 13 commons, 1 champion, etc. And if we have 830 booster packs only, 50 of those boosters were edition 1, 160 were edition 2, and 620 would have been the full set. So we're going to have some pure speculation here as to how many cards were available. All right, so if we break that down, we're looking at epic rares based on 830 boosters. You know, we're going to have about 25 to 26 epic rares, each epic rare, as well as another 30 from the gift sets. So that would put this at a total of 55 to 56 epic rares of each of those 4 epic rares. For rares, same type of deal. We'd have about 90 to 91 of them, and then we'd have another 30 from the gift sets. So about 120 to 121 of each of those. When we get into the uncommons, you know, this is a little bit of a wild card. We're going to have about 124 to 25 based on 830 boosters. And then in addition to that, we're going to have the gift sets. So, you know, there's going to be another 30 there. The one caveat here is that it doesn't include any of the starter kit cards. And I don't have the data on how many uncommons and commons were broken down for the starter kits and on which cards those were. But if I get that information from somebody, I'd love to update this. Same thing with the commons, about 830 boosters, you get about 256 to 257, plus an extra 30 from the gift sets would give you 286 to 287 of the commons. So moving along to beta. Beta came out in September of 2018, and it was comprised of 996 starter kits, as well as 561 booster boxes. By this time, they had contained 24 booster packs per box, so you're going to get a total of 13,464 booster packs. And the set at this time contains 16 rares, 20 uncommons, 42 commons, and then the aura and the starter cards. So when we look at that and we break it down, there was no epic rares in beta, so we have about approximately 841 of each rare, approximately 2,019 of each uncommon, and approximately 3,205 of each common. And that's just based off the booster packs only, so just keep in mind the uncommons and commons were part of those starter kits, so those numbers would be inflated. All right, the next major set was Welcome to Jaelara. September of 2019, we had 665 booster boxes, each containing 24 booster packs, which would give us a total of 15,960 booster packs. By this time, the set had gotten a lot bigger. We've got 36 epic full art rares. You see Chrono Walker on the left there. And then we've got 36 rares, which were all the exact same as the epics, just not full art versions. 35 uncommons and 50 commons. So when you extrapolate this out, you've got 2 different types of packs at this time in Jaelara. So the non-epic packs contained a rare and 3 uncommons, but the epic packs contained an epic rare and a rare, and that epic rare actually took the place of one of the commons. So for the calculations, it's just slightly different, but based off 15,960 booster packs, we get to a number approximately 55 of each epic rare, 443 of each rare, 1368 of each uncommon, and 3192 of each common. So you see here, these epic rares are extremely low print, approximately 55 of each. That's even less than the beta rares. The last set we're going to go through is Raze. Came out in September of 2020. 655 booster boxes. Again, 24 boosters still in these boxes. And this set was comprised of 25 rares / epic rare. And the epic rares were the full arts again as well, just like in Welcome to Jaelara. 31 uncommons, 40 commons, 4 starters, 7 tip cards. So when we extrapolate this out based off 15,720 booster packs, we get 78 to 79 of each epic rare, 628 to 629 of each rare, 1457 to 1458 of each uncommon, and 3,930 commons. So again, we're still under 100 print run for these epic rares, making these some extremely rare cards. All right. Last but not least, we've got some promotional cards. So there have been a lot of promotional cards that Genesis has printed out, and they've been giving these out to some of the early stores that have adopted and sold their product. Patreon member promos, championship promos, special event promos. And you can see them all on their website, but what I wanted to do is just kind of highlight the ones where they're giving us card counts on their website and some of the most rare promo cards. So you see on the left there, Sky Storm Dragon. There was actually 2 versions of this printed, and the one that you're seeing is actually not the rarest one, but there is an even more rare one where there's only 4 of them printed. So you can imagine, when people start really collecting this, and anybody who's a high-end collector or completionist, they're going to be hunting for these things. They're going to be extremely hard to find. You're also going to notice some of the more played cards and staples like Baruch, Bolt Shot, Giant Scorpion on here, and some of these cards have extremely low count. And so, when you look at this versus some of the other TCGs out there in the market, you've got a lot of cards out there that have under 100 printed cards. And as this game grows and becomes bigger and more worldwide, I anticipate the value of those in the secondary market going up, but I also think it's going to be really cool when somebody whips one of these out in a deck, because you're going to know that they either were very early adopters of the game, or they know somebody and had access to these cards via somebody who was an early adopter of the game. All right, so I wanted to just kind of give an overview of the overall rarities, just so you can get more of a picture of, where you might want to collect if you want to reach back into some of the older sets. For most people, 2017 Alpha is going to be impossible to find and off limits. If you can get your hand on any of those cards, that would be really awesome and a cool collectible piece. 2018 Alpha, a little bit more out there. But one of the things I really wanted to highlight is the fact that a lot of people, when they get into this secondary market and looking at the older stuff, gravitate towards beta, just because that's the oldest set that would have been available to buy booster boxes of, outside of very closely, close confidants of Haunted Castle Gaming and the early stores that would have carried the product. Beta seemed a little bit more widespread, but for me, I look at Welcome to Jaelara and Raze, those epic rares. Look at those 55 and 78 of those. If you can find some of those, they're going to be extremely rare as the game grows. And with Welcome to Jaelara 2nd edition printed, you can still get those cards, but there's always something really cool to be said and a great story to tell about having some of those early ones. And even some of these uncommons and commons, very, very low print runs. You compare this to some other TCGs out there, and you're going to see that Genesis has some extremely low print runs, very rare cards. And if you're like into the game, liking the game, like to collect, this is a really cool way to get a piece of history with Genesis. So if you want to hear any more about any of this, please feel free to throw me a message or a comment, and feel free to subscribe. If you've watched the video and you like the product and you want me to do some more content like this, I'm really happy to do so, but I don't want to do it unless there's people to absorb that content. And I'd love to start being able to do some free giveaways and maybe some interviews with Assad or some of the other content creators out there. And I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Ben Trading Cards, because I know he's been very into Genesis recently, and I just watched a video that he produced showing some alpha and beta cards. So I'm actually going to hopefully show him some of the ones that I picked up, because I did have a chance to pick up some local ones in the Toronto area here that were extremely rare and really cool finds. So hope you liked it. Feel free to reach out, and look forward to producing more content in the future for you.